Hello everyone and welcome to our fourth video in this short saga on how to attack like the great magician. We are heading into the USSR Championship of 1972, and 1972 in chess is mostly known for the match of the century, Fischer-Sozin Reykjavik. But you know, other things have happened in chess aside from that, like the USSR Championship of 1972. That in the previous game against Wolfgang Ullmann, Tal played an incredible game, but he didn't do all that well in the tournament. Well, okay, not all that well. He got shared 6th place with Boris Spassky. The tournament was won by Anatoly Karpov and Leonid Stein. So in that competition, I would say that even 6th place is, you know, a pretty good result. But here, Tal won clear first place with 0 losses. So it was an incredible performance by Tal. Let me just make that a little bit smaller. There you have it. So USSR Championship 1972. Tal won first place with 15 out of 21. Tukmakov got 13 out of 21. And as you can see, Mikhail Mukhin, Tal's opponent in this game, got also a brilliant result, shared 3rd place with 12.5 out of 21. But also very interesting, yeah, out of all of the players, Tal the only one undefeated, 9 wins, 0 losses, and 12 draws. And this game, if you've liked the previous one, you're gonna love this one, as well. It just you know, blows his opponent off the board, and he goes into a line that Bobby Fischer played in one of his games in the Palma de Mallorca Interzonal tournament, but with a you know, a slight difference. There is one move missing from the position that Bobby Fischer had, and then Tal has to figure out if you know, it still works, or maybe it's even better. So let's see what happened here. Like I said, his opponent is Mikhail Mukhin, who basically got on the scene somewhere around that year. He had a very, very strong performance also in a tournament that year. And as you've seen from his results in this tournament, he was also very, very strong. He was somewhat younger than Tal. Tal was 35 years old when this game was played. Mukhin was 24 years old. So there is the age difference, and yeah, let's check out the game, the clash of the two Mikhails. Tal opens with pawn to e4, and Mikhail Mukhin goes for pawn to c5. We have knight to f3, pawn to d6, and d4. Captures, knight to f3, knight to f6, and knight to c3. We have pawn to a6 going for the knight of Sicilian, and here bishop to c4. And this is, again, I will say it once again, any move you make in this position is a very well-known theoretical line that has been played many times by many strong players. I often like to mention, like, Rook G1 in this position. It's the 11th most popular continuation, and still many strong grandmasters played it, achieving great results and playing spectacular games. But here we have bishop to c4, which is even today in 2025, when I'm recording this, the 4th most popular continuation. So bishop c4, pawn to e6, and bishop to b3. Now, just make a short detour here. This bishop to b3 move, I remember when I first started learning chess, I had the book. It was called I had, well, basically 2 of them. One was Learn Chess from Bobby Fischer, something like that, and the other one was by Dmitry Bielitsa, my friend Bobby Fischer. And whenever Fischer faced the Sicilian, you always had this line, and then it was the Sozin attack, and then bishop back to b3. And I was always very impressed by this bishop to b3 move, and it is the top move even nowadays recommended by the engine, and it definitely makes sense to play it because you get out of the range of b5, of d5. Queen c7 does not come with tempo, so bishop to b3 makes perfect sense. But I also wanted to mention that I checked online the databases, and if you don't play bishop to b3, regardless of it being the best move, let's say you play castles kingside. Most people really try to just win the pawn here, and you can win a lot of easy games by doing this. They're just gonna play b5, you're gonna play bishop back to b3, and they're gonna play b4. Kick away your knight and win the pawn. Once the knight moves, doesn't really matter, knight a4 is the best. They will win the pawn and feel very good about themselves, but you're gonna play rook to e1, and now look at this. The knight is attacked, the knight goes back, you're gonna play bishop to g5, and once bishop to e7 is played, it seems like everything is perfectly fine. They're ready to castle, they won a pawn, you're just gonna play knight f5. And that's it. Black can resign here, believe it or not, because whatever you play, it is simply insufficient. Capturing the knight here, simply bishop captures, pawn captures, and then you play queen d5. attacking the rook and the f7 pawn. So this is instant resigns. And even if you don't capture the knight, if you castle kingside, you might be thinking, okay, isn't black still just up a pawn? No, because you're going to play knight captures on e7, queen captures, and knight to b6. You attack the rook, and once rook a7 is played, now you again have this beautiful knight to d5 move. The pawn is pinned, the knight is pinned, so you're going to have to move the queen, and now bishop captures, g captures, and queen d4. You're attacking the rook and also threatening to capture the pawn on f6, which will end the game instantly. So there is no good way of playing this. So after castles, this knight captures on e4 move, or b5 followed by knight captures on e4 simply does not work for black. And sometimes black will try to play knight captures on e4 right away, because it seems like after knight captures pawn to d5, they're gonna win a piece back, and they've traded down in the opening, which is good for black. But then you're just gonna play queen to h5. And look at this, it doesn't matter what they play. If d captures on e4, you're going to play knight captures on e6, and after bishop captures, just bishop captures. And you already basically destroyed black's defenses. You're threatening checkmate on f7, so let's say queen c7 defense. You're going to play bishop d5, you stop b5, you're putting pressure on b7, you're going to win this pawn, rook d1 is coming. The position plays itself. Objectively, you are winning here. So I thought it's a funny thing to mention, because bishop to b3 is the strongest move. Everyone plays it, even I, when I have this position. Even though I'm not, I don't play bishop to c4 regularly. I'm more of an Adams attack or rook g1 type of person. But if I played it, I would definitely try this in, let's say, blitz or bullet games, because I think you'd win a lot of easy games, even at higher levels of competition. But okay, bishop to b3, this is definitely the best. We have pawn to b5 and castles kingside. We have bishop to b7, rook to e1. This is all theory and was theory back then. Knight b to d7, bishop to g5, and now we reach that position that Bobby Fischer played in the Palma de Mallorca interzonal tournament against Jorge Rubinetti, where Rubinetti played pawn to h6, which is by far the strongest and the only good move for black that it does not give white a better position. He played this against Bobby Fischer. Bobby Fischer played bishop back to h4, and only then knight to c5 was played, to which Bobby Fischer replied with the spectacular bishop to d5. And then, well, you've seen my Bobby Fischer saga, you know what happened. If you haven't, do check it out, the entire Palma de Mallorca interzonal tournament, as Fischer played some of the best chess ever played, in that tournament. But here, after this bishop to g5 move, Mikhail Mukhin does not go for pawn to h6 followed by knight to c5. He plays knight to c5 right away, which is even better for Tal, because it's not that pawn to h6 is that, I mean, it is great, but the knight c5 move in all of the lines is just bad. And here, I guess he thought that maybe without this idea, maybe you could, play h6, bishop h4, g5, bishop to g3, and then, go for that e4 pawn. Maybe that's the way to go. But whatever the case, Tal uses the Fischer recipe. He goes bishop to d5. And here it's a little bit different, but again, there's no good move for black here. It's hard to say if black is lost. Probably, with engine level precision, maybe black can play this, but a human, never. There is no way a human gets out of this, because, when you hear... the famous quote about Tal's forest, where 2 + 2 = 5, and the path leading out is only wide enough for one. Well, this is the forest that they're referring to. This is Tal's forest, and Tal is always the one coming out of the forest, because he just could maneuver around the trees much better than everyone else. But point is, it doesn't matter if you capture the bishop or not. Let's say you capture the bishop just for fun. Okay, he captures, you deliver a nice check, and after bishop to e7 or king to d7, I mean, try to survive against Tal with king d7. But bishop e7, let's say you block this, bishop captures on f6, g captures on knight f5. Okay, that loses tactically, so we're not going to even discuss that. So after bishop to d5, you could, let's say you don't capture the piece, you trade. Bishop captures on d5. Okay, e captures on d5, and now you close the position, e5. Can you play this? No, because now knight c6 attacks the queen, and after queen to c7, you're going to play bishop captures on f6, g captures, and pawn to b4. That pretty much wins any game. Knight to a4, let's say captures, you play pawn to c4, and look at this sad position for black, the knight completely covering that black king. Castling king side, I mean, good luck with that. Try to develop even, the queen can come to the king side, the queen can just capture on a4, there's no way to save that pawn, so I mean, it's as simple as that. So that's only one of the options, like captures on d5 by the pawn and by the bishop. And just for fun, I'm going to show you what black can play, like the top engine line that we've discussed, that is bishop to e7. Still, it loses spectacularly, but yeah. Let's just show it. Knight to c6. Okay, attacks the queen and bishop. Obviously, have to either move the queen or capture on c6. But capturing, you can see that already loses quite a lot of material. So queen, sorry about that. Queen to c7. You're gonna play knight captures on e7, and after king captures is the only good move. Queen captures. Black is dead lost. So after king captures, you're going to play bishop captures, and after knight captures, now you're going to play queen f3, and again, very, very hard to play this. You can't even get, let's say you try to get the rook into the game, all of a sudden bishop captures, g captures, and knight to d5 check, forking the king and the queen, and once you capture the knight, if you don't want to give up the queen, e captures opens up the e file. If you go king d7, queen f5 is checkmate, the king has nowhere to go. And if you go to f8, seems like, okay, maybe you can survive, you're up a full knight, but look at this, queen captures on f6, threatens queen to h8 checkmate, and when you play king to g8, then rook to e7, attacks the black queen, next move you capture and capture with checkmate, or black gives up a queen, and then you're just, you have a queen for a rook and knight, which is, of course, completely winning. So those are some of your options. Obviously, this is terrible, and the top move recommended by the engine will get you, to some place, but not very far. And at some point, you will collapse because you cannot play like an engine. So none of this was attempted here. Mikhail, as he was obviously a very strong player, played pawn to b4. So what can Tal do here? Well, there are many ways you can do it, but there's only one way out of the forest. Feel free to pause the video and try to find it as I give you a couple of seconds. So, for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on safely finding your way out of the forest, and the rest of you will have to remain, being forest people for the eternity. Bishop captures on b7. This is the only way to win, and obviously there are two ways. There's always more than one way to recapture when Tal is playing, because more than one of his pieces is constantly under attack. And you could capture on c3, but that's not all that impressive. We could maybe show it. B captures, you're going to play knight to c6 first, attack the queen, queen d7, you're going to capture the rook. And look at this. Now, after queen to c8, going after the bishop, there's even captures b4, you attack the knight, and after the knight moves, look at this disgusting move, knight b8. Where if the queen captures, you just play bishop c6 check and pick up the knight on a4, and you enjoy your extra material. Bishop captures, and okay, you're just up a full rook, so you're gonna win easily. So after bishop captures on b7, of course, knight captures on b7 was played, and now what does Tal play? And this is the move you have to see when you play bishop captures on b7. Again, knight to d5. Just, the knight is pinned, the knight cannot move. You can't ignore it. That's the problem. Tal's tutor, Alexander Koblenz, even says in the book that having a knight on d5, when your opponent plays something like this, it is psychologically unbearable to allow the knight to taunt you there for a very long time. You just want to get rid of it. And here, just ignoring it by developing bishop e7, you play knight c6, and the bishop is lost. So you have to capture it. There's no other way. After knight d5, Mikhail Mukhin captured on d5, and finally Tal opens up the e file. E captures on d5, delivers check, and now again we mentioned bishop e7. You just simply capture a knight f5. That's a dead lost. So after e captures on d5 check, king to d7, and now finally Tal has the opponent's king on the run. And look at this, pawn to c3. Only Tal could go after the opponent's king by playing a move like pawn to c3. And not only is the queen coming to a4, but also the c file will open up, and then the rook comes to the c file. So Mukhin finds a very interesting solution. He plays pawn to b3. Okay, the queen comes into the game, but at least the c file will remain closed. Queen captures on b3, and now knight to c5. Okay, stops the queen from coming to a4, but now Tal plays queen c4. And you all see the threat. The threat is there for everyone to see. Pawn to b4 will dislodge the knight, and queen to c6 is checkmate. So queen to c8. Only way to stop this, you have to confront the white queen on the c file, and now Tal plays knight to c6. We have pawn to h6, even though any other move is insufficient for black to try and defend. Finally, Tal captures on f6, g captures, and now rook to e3 with the... Well, again, I imagine you see the idea. Rook a to e1, doubling up, and then you sacrifice one of the rooks for a beautiful checkmate on e7, as the knight is covering the d8 square and guarding the rook once it comes to e7. So Mukhin tries to escape, king to c7, and now Tal just pushes b4, and that's it. Now the knight will move, and then you have all of these nasty discoveries. If you move the knight wherever, doesn't really matter. You can simply play knight e7 check, pick up the queen, so that wins on the spot. So after b4, Mukhin played rook to g8, but upon playing rook to g8, he resigned the game without even waiting to see Tal's next move. And there you have it. A brilliancy, another brilliancy by Tal, only 21 moves long. And yeah, I imagine the pain Mikhail Mukhin was dealing with here. Tal probably wasn't even at the board when rook g8 was played. He had to wait for Tal, to get back to the board. Then Tal would, savor the position. He would probably light a smoke. He would, just enjoy himself immensely before making a move. And unfortunately, pretty much any move for white wins here. So he didn't want to suffer through that. He resigned here. But as usual, for fun, I will show you a nice fun line. Like, you could play anything, but obviously if capturing the knight wins, so we're going to do that. Let's say d captures, queen to f4 check, bishop to d6, attacks the queen, and now look at this, rook e7 check. And it doesn't matter where you go to, you either give up the queen, or you go to b6, which is the only square available to the king. The knight is covering b8 and d8, and if king to b6, look at this, rook b1 is checkmate. Spectacular play by the magician, taking down another Mikhail like this. Definitely not an easy task, especially since we said that Mikhail was doing incredibly well in the tournament, got shared third place with Gennady Kuzmin and Vladimir Savon. So incredibly strong tournament, 1972 USSR championship. Tal won first place, and not only that, he played brilliant chess without losing a single game. That is the magician for you. So yeah, like I said, even though 1972, when discussing chess, is reserved for Fischer, Spassky, and Reykjavik, other stuff happened in chess as well. Yeah, probably some of you don't know Mikhail Mukhin, or probably never even heard of him. He died very young at the age of 29 due to a brain aneurysm. If not that, probably he would play chess for a very long time. We would hear about him, more and more, and he would, probably face all the greats that came after. He would probably face even Kasparov at some older age, and yeah, he would be around, but unfortunately, yeah, that's not the case. So yeah, that's the game. I hope you guys enjoyed it and that you're enjoying this short saga on how to attack like the great magician. It's not easy, but rapid development, sacrifice material at all costs. Basically, everything that Paul Morphy taught us is how chess should be played, and Tal is just using that only at a level that very few people can. And I thought it was interesting. A lot of people are saying that they wish they could see Tal play chess 960 or Fischer random or freestyle chess because you would have to face the forest for move 1 basically. So I don't know. What do you think about that? Would Tal just obliterate everyone, or is it actually opening preparation? And we all know Tal was really good at openings that allowed him to play such moves, or do you think that he will? How would Tal fare if we often say that, okay, if we brought back grandmasters from the old days, they couldn't face modern grandmasters simply because they don't know theory, and the modern grandmasters would just crush them. But how about in Fischer random? What do you think? Could Tal play Fischer random against Magnus and the top guys? That would be something else to see. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I would like to thank Diane Schwartz, Mohammed Babar Khalil, the Animated Chemist, Crash BPS1, and Magician Chess for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. Thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.